Hello and welcome. I'm Dani Walker. I'm a former Miss Montana USA. Welcome to this painful episode about what I would do differently at Miss USA. If you're new and you like content like this, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell so that you know when brand new episodes come out every single week, and also you'll know about when my extra bonus episodes come out. And if you love beauty, business, and some weekly encouragement, then also give me a follow on Instagram at Dani Walker. I would love to connect with you there. First off, thank you to Katie for requesting this episode. You guys might not think that I check them, but I do try to look through all my messages, as many as I can get through in comments, to see what you guys are requesting and what you want to see on this channel. So don't be shy, just DM me or leave it in the comments below what you want to see, because things like this happen. So this is funny because competing at Miss USA is a one-shot deal. Normally when I would compete at a pageant, I have this goal of winning a certain title. After I would lose, I would go back and I would reevaluate what I did and think, what can I do next time to improve? But since you compete at Miss USA once, and for all of my international viewers, yes, you only do get one shot at Miss USA. They don't allow us to come back and recompete. Since you can only do that one time, I just left it as what it was. So now let's revisit. It's been a little bit of time, but there are quite a few things that I can still remember, that if I had a do-over and if my intention was truly to win Miss USA, then I would have done things differently. I'm actually excited to share this because I talk about this in a lot of my episodes, that it's so important to be honest with yourself, and that's a little bit hard to do. It's a little bit of a blow to our ego a lot of times, but if you want to improve, then you need to look at things from a more objective standpoint. And if you agree with that, comment queen down below, because I truly believe that that is one of the cornerstones to success, is reevaluating what we did, making changes, and doing better the next time. I'm gonna rewind all the way back to when I first won my title and what my first priority was. And I think that that was the right priority, and it's getting your Miss USA gown. And all my ladies out there who've competed at Miss USA, you know this struggle, you know that things aren't the way that they seem on TV, that you can't just go out and get any gown. And now, because Sherry Hill is the official sponsor, contestants have to wear a Sherry Hill gown to Miss USA, which kind of further complicates things, also sort of makes things easier because you're narrowing down your options. Just depends on the way that you look at it. Going in, my goal was to wear a ball gown because I had never competed in a ball gown before. I loved the idea of it, but for me it was more of a personal thing, where I tried on this ball gown years ago, and it was something like almost a $10,000 Sherry Hill ball gown. And it was just the ultimate dream for me to be able to wear that ball gown. And so on my journey, when I went to Miss USA, I was set on, I want to wear a Sherry Hill ball gown. Also, I like the idea that a ball gown really represents a fairy tale. And I don't want to get emotional right now, but that's what that truly meant to me. So I wanted my gown to embody what my journey was, and I wanted it to be significant in that way. I knew I wanted to wear red because I love that color on myself on stage, and I always did really well in it, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I went online looking for different ball gowns, and I was really inspired by a Michael Cinco feather bottom ball gown, and that's what I wanted. I just thought it was so dreamy, it was so classic, loved it. Showed my idea to Sherry Hill, and she said, absolutely not. The train is too long for you. I've never created a gown like that. You're talking about a $30,000 evening gown. And I was like, okay, cool. So what can we do within my budget? So I tried on a few different styles and sort of narrowed down what I was looking for and what she could make. And then she told me, here, this is what we can do. She sketched up my gown, and I love the sketch. I thought it was really beautiful and it made sense. And then in the back of my head, I said, I am still getting my feathers. So I had to wait for my gown, which took a while. I had to wait to get it altered, and that was pretty close to the time of Miss USA, and that's pretty common for contestants. Some girls will even get their dress the day before they go to Miss USA, which is super scary, but it does happen. I got my gown, and about a day or two before I left to Miss USA, I just spent all my time sewing those feathers onto that dress. And I absolutely was so happy with those feathers on the gown. I actually changed the strap once I put it on and actually got to see how the dress looked on me. I changed my mind, so I went forward with that. But from a coaching standpoint, if I was coaching myself, I would have told myself, choose a different gown. Let that gown be for an appearance. Let that gown be for your wedding day. I don't care, whatever it is, just don't wear it to Miss USA. Go with what's gonna win. And it's really rare to see a ball gown win at Miss USA, especially on a shorter contestant. So I would have put myself in some blinged out, a little bit of sexy gown style that would have, I think, translated just better on that stage. But I knew that my intention wasn't just to win Miss USA. I wanted to be truly authentic to myself, which is why people are like, do you regret that? No, because that dress represented me and what I wanted to be about. And if I were to be crowned as Miss USA, that dress would be a part of my story. And I wanted to tell that story and share it with others. So thank God I have a YouTube channel, right? That I get to share it with you. So that's what I would have done differently in terms of my gown. One other thing is that you have to have so many outfits for Miss USA. They want you to have a day outfit and a night outfit for every single day. Plus you're gonna have athletic wear, specialty wear, extra cocktail dresses, a backup evening gown, all that stuff. So I wish that I would have started shopping really soon for all of those pieces. And honestly, I wish I would have thrifted more of them. I did go thrift shopping and I was able to put together more outfits, but I know that if I had gone thrifting earlier, I would have been able to thrift all of my Miss USA appearance wardrobe, and it would have saved me a lot of money. Now, fortunately, I did invest in some really great pieces so that I was able to resell those after Miss USA and make almost my money back. So that wasn't too bad, but looking back, start shopping sooner. Another thing I should have done right away was book some pageant headshots with different pageant photographers. They do not tell you the day that your pageant headshot is due for Miss USA. So I was at the Beauty Brand Believe Expo, which is where my photo shoot with Austin Ride was scheduled, and I love him. He's an incredible photographer. And they told us then, by the way, you have to submit your photo like today. So poor Austin ended up rushing, trying to edit everybody's photos. And what I wish I would have done to make sure I got the best image or a better image and not feel rushed, because I just didn't like that aspect of it, was shoot with more photographers. And I actually did. I had another photo shoot, but my photos weren't being done edited in time to submit them for my headshot that was gonna be on the Miss USA website. So I was super bummed about that. So in hindsight, I should have immediately got my title and booked my headshots right then and there. Actually, I take it back, changed my hair color to the way that I wanted it for Miss USA, then booked my headshots, so then I looked the same. Next thing to do differently was this. So a lot of people don't realize that for Miss USA and maybe for Miss Universe, I would assume something kind of similar is going on, that you don't create your own paperwork. Instead, they send you an online form, and in this form, you just fill out your information. So it looks kind of like this. They'll ask you a question, and then there'll be a box, and then you can write a paragraph, and you have, 5,000 characters that you can use to write your answers. And they ask you a ton of information. They ask you so many things. And the thing about myself is that I am really, really diverse. I have a lot of interests, I have a lot of talents, I have a lot of different awards. And I think that looking back, you're like, oh, what's wrong with that? The thing that was wrong with that is that I shared too much with them. So I could only imagine the poor staff member that was like, how in the world are we gonna put together a resume for this contestant? Or how are we going to put together her package, her video package for TV that you would see if you place in the semifinals? They're like, how in the world are we gonna put that together for her? She's just like all over the place. So I think that advice to self would have been to just really brand down on all of that stuff and give MUO limited information. The other thing is that they spring it on you when you have to turn in those forms. So I was totally unprepared. I had never heard about these forms from anybody else. And I had 48 hours. Unfortunately, that's the same time that they knew that many of us were in Austin, Texas, and we were picking out our Miss USA gowns with the official pageant sponsor. So I was there with Miss Texas, with Miss Vermont, and I don't remember who, but I saw them during my gown appointment. And we're all there, and then we have this 48 hours to turn in all these forms, and I just wasn't prepared to submit them, and unfortunately did not have my laptop with me. never make that mistake again. And then so I was trying to submit them on my phone, and then it kept refreshing and not saving, and it took me an entire day to get through that form. And it was super stressful, and that was not a fun part of the process. It was definitely a necessary part. But like I said, I would have really branded down on all of that stuff, because once I saw my UCAP video at Miss USA, and that's what that's called, it's just up close and personal. And those are the videos, like I said, they play if you make a semifinal. And I saw it, and it was really weird because the things that I was talking about were some of the things that I wanted to mention in that video. But the video footage that MUO used in my UCAP did not match what I was talking about. And I was like, why in the world did you use those video clips when they don't make sense for what I'm saying?
My passions in life are always what fuel me. That's why I decided to shift my entire life from pursuing the music industry into creating a YouTube channel that was impacting the lives of young women. I really believe in the sharing of knowledge, and I'm able to do that on my channel by taking my life experiences, sharing with them with other women so they can benefit from it. Aside from my YouTube channel, I am very passionate about creating sustainable solutions for poverty. I've been working with over 50 nonprofit organizations since 2004. I think it's an important conversation that we need to have and start in this country.
I can't imagine that editing that is an easy job, because I know what I'm talking about, but somebody who doesn't know me is not gonna understand that. I, in hindsight, would have sent actually less video footage. Even though they kept asking for more, I would send less, and I would have started filming all of those ahead of time. I didn't know that I had to pay to get that all done, and I had to hire my own videography team, so that would have been something I would have gotten on right away. Because even when I watched my UCAP, and I remember they all started posting on Twitter, so we were all watching our own and waiting to see ours, and I saw mine and I was like, oh, this isn't good. I just didn't think that it was a strong enough package. It didn't make for good TV, and that's what Miss USA is, and they tell you that this is a TV show. You need to be good for TV, and personally, I didn't think it was good for TV. So when I saw it, I was like, that's not making a semifinal. So I already felt like I knew that. This is kind of a small one, but I wouldn't have packed so many shoes. I literally brought a giant suitcase of shoes, and because my feet are calloused from dance, sorry, kind of gross, when I got there on day one, I hadn't been wearing heels for a while. I've been trying to just relax my feet, and then because of my calluses, they cracked, and then my feet were bleeding on day one. I was like, no, please don't. I ended up wearing about maybe 3 pairs of heels that were just my comfiest, and so looking back, I would have really looked for a couple really comfy heels just to match more outfits. One thing I really didn't like was my swimsuit, but I don't really know if there were many other options, because I remember it was me, it was California, DC, Sarah was there, and we were basically in that last group to pick out our swimsuits, and we had no choice over that. They tell you that it's first come, first serve, but then suddenly throughout the day they created this list and they created this order of who gets their swimsuits when. So I kept trying to go back and get a swimsuit, and they kept telling me, no, we have you on the list, come when your name is called. And I was like, oh gosh, nobody told me this before. I thought it was first come, first serve. So they kept saying, ladies, don't worry about it. We have so many different styles. We'll find something in your size. And by the time I got there, literally nothing fit. I was so small at Miss USA. I was definitely a size 0, and none of the bottoms fit. So they had to alter those for me. And then all of the tops were too big on me. So they had to double pad my top, because everything was just gone. I was just so tiny at the time, and I just didn't like the print. I didn't like the fabric. One of my other options, because I actually got fitted before Sarah, was the black and white swimsuit that she wore, and it's kind of one of those things like, oh my gosh, I could have chose that swimsuit, but do I really think it would have made a difference? Not really. I think that maybe the bottoms might have fit me a little bit better. Maybe I would have felt more confident in that, but it's just one of those things. Like, I didn't like many of the styles of swimsuits anyways. That was just a bummer. I probably would have just chose a different swimsuit, different 2 swimsuits, because you choose one for prelims and one for finals, which obviously didn't get to wear the finals one. I'll mention this about interview is that I actually had a pretty great interview. I went in with Sarah, so they send in 2 contestants at the same time. There's 2 judging panels. You stand back to back, you go to your panel, and then you switch sides. And I made the first panel laugh. We were having so much fun. In the second panel, I was asked a lot more political questions. I didn't stumble over my words. I was able to hit on certain branding points, so I was actually really happy with my interview. Have I had better interviews? Yeah, probably, but not really worse ones, I would say. I wouldn't say that that was one of my worst interviews. It was pretty natural, and it was very much me, so I had fun with that, and I enjoyed that part. I personally love to smile when I'm on stage. I love doing it, and I have a real big smile, so I do that a lot. So one of the things that people said to me is that I should smile less for Swimsuit. So I was working so much and so hard on smiling a little bit less, which I did. And now looking back, I was like, well, I kind of wish I would have just smiled more. I like my smile a little bit more. The other thing about Swim in that performance was my hair, and you guys, the humidity was insane and my hair hated it. So it was hard enough to get any volume in my hair, and I finally did, and it was nice and big, right? And then I kept spraying my hair over and over when I was about to walk on stage, and my hair was just not having it. So it was so dang frizzy, and there was nothing I could do about it. And one of my friends, Christine, was like, what happened to your hair? And I was like, girl, I tried. Like, I sprayed it, but our dressing rooms, which were these tables with heat lamps that they just connected to those mirrors, those long full-length mirrors, like the heat was just getting to me, and I kept having to turn it off, and my hair it's not made for that. Quick note, if you are loving this episode, you want to see more like it, or you don't want to see more like it, whatever it is, make sure that you just screenshot this, post it to an Instagram story, tag me, and hashtag me at Dani Walker, because I want to hear from you. I want to know what you thought about this episode, if it kind of opened your mind to any things about the behind the scenes of competing in Miss USA. Couple slight differences I would have liked to seen for gown though. I always think that a Miss USA gown is a little bit sexy, which is why my gown, it actually had a low cut V neckline, which you didn't end up seeing on stage because the staff adjusted my sash that said Montana. So I had my sash placed a little bit lower, and then they moved it up, and I should have moved it right back down the second before I walked on, because since my gown didn't have a slit or a low back, that low V neck was the only kind of sexy that I had for my gown. So I think that taking that element away from my dress really made it a lot more conservative on stage, and it just changed the look of it. Now the other thing I wish that I would have done, which I sort of did, but just not to the extent I think that I should have done it in, is just to flip my skirt from the back to the front more, a la very Miss Universe 2009, because she had that red gown with feathers on the bottom, and she really worked that, and I think that I could have worked that more, and that's something that Luciera had told me during rehearsals, which is why originally I didn't even touch my skirt. But then later for the pageant, I actually kind of like flipped it around a little bit, but I should have just done it more. And I realized that after prelims, when Liz and I were by our hotel room, we were in the hallway and we're just taking pictures of our dress and spinning in them and just having fun in them. And I was like, why didn't I flip my skirt like this? That would have looked amazing. It would have been a moment on stage. Here's actually a little video clip that I took of my gown doing that. And if you think I should have flipped that skirt a little bit more, give me a thumbs up on this one. Now, if you want to see for yourself all of this stuff that I've been talking about and kind of the whole prep process, then you can check out 2 things. My Road to Miss Montana USA series, and then my Road to Miss USA series, because it has so much more behind the scenes and kind of like my thoughts right after the pageant and feelings, and just lots of fun clips. So make sure to check that out. Those are the things that I would have done differently if I had a do-over or if I was getting ready for another pageant. And I thought that this, like I said, was a really fun episode, and it's really what I would do all the time whenever I lost a pageant, and it's what I do for clients now. So I think it maybe will give you some good insights about what it looks like to be a little bit more objective and to be self-critical, but for the purpose of growth, for the purpose of improving for yourself. So this was kind of fun to be able to do it for all of you. It's a little bit awkward, definitely a little bit more vulnerable than my usual weekly videos, but I had fun with it, thinking back and kind of remembering all the fun things. But overall, I loved my Miss USA experience. Wouldn't take it back, guys, and it led me to where I am today. So thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you've subscribed and that you followed me on social media at Dani Walker, and that you're going to come back for next week's episode.